What's up, guys? This is Corey with Dirt City Games, back with another video for y'all. So today we're going to be taking a look at another deck profile. So today we're going to be taking a look at a version of the Lemon Lime Frieza, the Golden Frieza leader from set 1. Except today we're actually going to be looking at a 3-color version of that. It's going to be, instead of just green-yellow, it's going to be green-yellow-blue. So really cool stuff to kind of get into. As always, deck link and deck list will be down in the description below, so if you don't want to watch the entire video, totally get you. Be sure to look for that link down below. But let's get over into the list. Alright, so let's start with our leaders. So Frieza and then Golden Form, or Ultimate Form Golden Frieza on the back. So on his front side, he's got the auto, or got the activate main. Once per turn, you can discard one of your Frieza's army battle cards from play, and you can untap an energy and draw a card. Whenever he at 4 less life, you can awaken, draw 2 cards, and on his backside he's got a similar ability, except this time you, whenever you discard one, you untap 2 energies and draw a card. So really good there. He's energy manipulation that's outside of blue, so he's not limited by cards like TN. Obviously they can still play TN, but now they have to pay 4 to play TN, which is really strong. Alright, moving on into the deck list. So first up we've got our blue package. We've got 3 Bobbity Overseer of Destruction. So he's just a 1-drop, 1 blue, 1k power battle card. He's got barrier, and then he's got 2 permanents. One, all of your Agents of Destructions have no specified cost, and then his other one is all of your Agents of Destructions cost 1 less from hand. So he's just really good. You only ever need to charge one of these. You only ever really need 1 blue in play, and then 1 of these ever in play at a time. You can start playing these like turn 3, turn 4. You don't really need to start playing these early. You can charge it like turn 3. Usually, kind of depending on what deck you're playing up against. We have 1 Agent of Destruction card that we'll get into, but he makes him more cost effective for us, and he's just a really cheap blue source. Alright, so moving on, we've got our 1-drop Chile. We have 4 of her. So she's whenever she comes into play, you draw 1 card. Then she's got an activate main, not a once per turn effect, so you can do this as long as you have the energy for it. But 1 green, 1 other. Search your deck for a Frieza's army card with an energy cost of 2 or less and put it into play. So it's really strong there. It just filters through our deck, kind of gets us what we need as we need it. And then she is a 4k battle card. She's a Frieza's army, which is the most relevant part of her. So she triggers a lot of the effects in the deck. Specifically, our leader, we can sack her to draw a card and untap energy. Next up, we have 4 Infernal Emperor Frieza. So he's a 1-drop 10k auto. Whenever you play him, you may choose up to 1 card from your life and add it to your hand. So he's really good. He's a great beater early. You can play him for 10k swing. He applies early pressure. Then you can sack him to untap and draw. What's really strong about him, as opposed to some other cards that are similar to his effect, is that his take a life effect is a choose up to. So it's not a you play this, you have to take a life. So you can even play him late game and still get value off of playing him for 1, untap 2, and draw a card. So really strong there. Alright, next up we've got 4 Chile the Beautiful. She's a 2-drop, 15k, 1 green, 1 other. She's the auto once per turn. Whenever one of your opponent's battle cards is KO'd, your opponent chooses 1 card from their hand and discards it. So she's really strong effect. We've got a couple different removal type effects in the deck, or whether we're just attacking into a battle card and killing it. She takes effect and makes them discard cards. And this is an effect that works on both yours and your opponent's turn, if that ever becomes relevant, but it is a 2-turn effect. Alright, next up we've got Speedy Partner Linmo. So he's a 2-drop, 2 green, 15k battle card. He's got the auto whenever you play this card. If you have a Chile the Beautiful or Chile BR card in your battle area, your opponent chooses 1 card from their hand and places it in the drop area. So again, just more removal. He's a pretty efficient 15k body for 2. We can get him off the 1-drop Chile. We can get him off of Frieza's Call. He's a Frieza's army card, so he works with our leader's ability. So overall, just really strong. This is one of the key kind of pieces of the deck. We get him into play, make him discard cards, we swing with him, sack him, untap, draw, all the really good stuff. Alright, next up we've got Agent of Destruction Android 13. So he is a 20k crit for 3, 2 green, 1 other. And then he's got the auto, the activate main for 2 colorless. You can choose one of your opponent's battle cards, KO it, and then your opponent chooses 1 card from their hand and discards it. So just really good. He's hard removal. Obviously, he's got the synergy with Chile. Just removing stuff, making them a discard card, then a discard a card off of Chile. So for 2, you're making your opponent discard 2 cards and killing something, which is really efficient. Body makes him cost 2 of any color, which makes him really nice. 2 for a 20k crit is really strong. Then his additional effect makes him just really over the top strong. Next up, we've got 2 Surprise Attack Frieza. We're never going to actually pay his cost, but he is a 4 cost. He's a 15k crit, and then he's got the auto. Whenever one of your opponent's battle cards is KO'd, if Surprise Attack Frieza is not in play already, you may play him from your hand for free. So he's just a really good, just kind of efficient card. You kill something, whether you're swinging into it or you're using Android 13 to kill something, then you play him down, swing, you get a 15k crit coming at you that you can then sack off the leader to untap and draw. So again, just really efficient, and he's a really strong card for the deck. Next up, we've got 3 Avenging Frieza. So he's a 1-drop, 1 yellow, auto whenever he comes into play. Look at the top 3 cards of your deck. You may add a Frieza's Army card with an energy cost of 2 or less you find there and add it to your hand. So just a really good tutor. He searches majority of the deck. All of our Chiles, our Linmos, our Frieza, our Super Combo. So all that's really good and strong. He's just a really great, like, play him, search, sack him, so he's a +1 right there. Next up, we've got Frieza Biding His Time. So he's a 1-drop yellow, 5k attacker. Whenever you play this card, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards with an energy cost of 2 or less, ignoring barrier, and switch it to rest mode. So he's really good for taking care of threats like Borgos, Godly Destruction, Whis, anything like that that's kind of annoying that just sits on the board. He also ignores barriers, so we can get rid of things that your opponent just likes to sit there and let wait. For whether combo pieces or whatever it is, he can kind of take care of that stuff. Being that he taps down so little energy cost, he's really great to tap things down and then swing with him, and then sack him off the leader to untap and draw to make him incredibly efficient. Next up, we've got 4 Dodoria, the Emperor's Attendant. So this is our super combo. The reason we're running this super combo over another super combo is the fact that this is a Frieza's Army card, energy cost 2 or less. So he checks all the boxes for our search cards, which makes him pretty strong that way. Next up, we've got 2 Shinron, Figure of Majesty. So he's a 4 cost. He's got Sparking 5, and he's got multiple effects that you choose one of. And whichever one you choose, you automatically draw a card. But his first effect is you can choose a battle card with an energy cost of 2 or less from your drop area, then bring it into play. So you can bring in a majority of what we're normally playing anyway, whether it be our Chile the Beautiful, Linmo, or 1-drop Chile, or Frieza Biding His Time, all that kind of good stuff. You get those effects, and then sack them off the leader, so you're getting them for free, and then untapping 2, drawing 2 effectively off the Shinron. His other effect is you can just untap 2 energy, which is really strong, and his last effect is you can choose either your leader or one of your battle cards, and give it critical and plus 5k for the duration of the turn, which again is just really strong. Really strong stuff, whether you're trying to just bring in stuff to untap, get an effect off, untap energy, draw cards, whatever it is. He's just really efficient. You have to almost treat him as if he costs 2 with your leader, because you untap energy off of him anyway, which makes him way more playable in the deck. Alright, next up we've got 4 Senzu Bean. Not a lot of description here for Senzu Bean. Pretty much everyone knows what it is, what it does. But it's great in like the Super Shinron Storm type matchups, especially because, like we mentioned earlier, we're not as threatened by Tien because they have to pay 4 to play Tien as opposed to the 1 since we're a yellow leader. So we can get Senzu Beans out pretty free. Next up, we have 2 Cold Bloodlust. Just a great, disruption kind of card. If they're playing something we don't want to deal with, we Bloodlust it and don't worry about it that turn. Next up, we've got 2 Death Ball. So how this Death Ball works is for 1 energy, you give your leader, if your leader's a Frieza, it gets plus 15k. And then if it's your turn, you choose one of your opponent's battle cards in rest mode, and you KO it. So it's just a 1-drop, hard removal. You get rid of things. You activate Chile, make them discard cards. You give your leader a big buff. You get rid of threats on the board. Just all around really good things there. Next up, we got 3 Flying Nimbus. Right now, it's probably one of the more important negates in the game. Just being able to stop those really wide threats, wide strategies, whether it be Super Shinron, Vanilla Q, any of that kind of stuff. Just pitch yellow, then they can only attack with 1 more battle card for the turn. If you live the dream and your opponent sequences incorrectly and swings their leader first, you drop a Nimbus, just prevent them from really doing any kind of damage to you. And then last up, we've got 3 Frieza's Call. So it's just a 1-drop card. Search your deck for a Frieza's Army card with energy cost of 2 or less and put it into play in rest mode. So it's just really good. Let's say you miss your Infernal Emperor turn 1 and you need to self-awaken, draw cards. You play this, go get Infernal Emperor, play him, take a life, sack him, untap, draw cards. So he's a +2 that way. which is really good. Plus one really more effectively, but we're not specified in having green energy in order to get him out. We can go get Sheila, we can go get Speedy Partner Lenmo, which is a really great target for Frieza's Call. Just pay 1, make him discard a card. 1-drop Sheila, pay 1, draw a card. Then sack her, draw cards, all that kind of good stuff. Frieza biding his time is another really good target for this. Let's say they've got a Whis, or they've got a Borgos just sitting there that you don't want to deal with to untap with your leader. You just go play Frieza's Call, go get biding his time, tap it down, swing, sack it. Really good stuff there. Alright, moving on to the sideboard. So the sideboard itself is really kind of work in progress still currently. This is kind of where I'm sitting at with it right now. We'll kind of get into it. So 2 Goku striving to be the best. So he's just a 2-drop. Your opponent can't attack with battle cards with energy cost of 2 or less. So he works really good trying to slow down different types of deck strategies. The other benefit of playing him in a Frieza deck is that we get access to Cold Bloodlust. So you can play him, and if they do have an answer for him, you can Cold Bloodlust that answer and prevent that from happening, which is really strong. Next up, we've got 2 Battering Laser, just really good for decks that like to play like mass numbered negates. If they like to play their own Battering Laser, you can Battering the Battering. This also deals with things like Xeno buttons and anything like that. It's just a really strong card overall. An additional Cold Bloodlust, just if you ever feel those matchups that you feel like you need 3 or you need to see them more often, just to have that extra one there. We got 2 Godly Destruction Whis. This is our Borgos type effect. It's really good for decks that like to untap. It's really good for like the Super Shenron, Janimbas, all those kind of things. It's a threat that they have to deal with if they want to keep doing what they're trying to do. Next up, we've got 2 Time Control Kronoa. So Sugesh is still one of those cards you're always gonna have to worry about. We had a Sugesh type deck be successful at the PPG Dallas this past week. So again, Kronoa is still relevant in sideboards. After that, we've got Mercenary Tau. So this is just good versus any type of discard type deck, whether it be Slug or Hand Control Shenron, anything like that. It's just really good. Fine, and then right there we've got 2 returning, or Tien Shinhan returning fire. Just again, he's just great for any type of Janemba type matchup, Hercule type matchup, anything that wants to untap and is blue or red. We play Janemba and we limit those options. We play Tien, excuse me, and limit those options. And then finally, we've got our 2 Masked Saiyan, the Mysterious Warrior. He's gotten a little bit more popular more recently with a lot of the decks that are playing a lot of smaller things, whether it be Super Shenron Storm or even the Vanilla Coup to get rid of a lot of things at one time. Plus, he's a 20k double striker, which is really strong. But all in all, like that's the deck list. Like I said, I think the deck's really fun. I don't know. It does have its like negatives. I still think Vanilla Q's kind of a hard out for the deck. But versus Super Shenron, it actually has a pretty good matchup, I feel like, especially with the inclusion of Senzu Bean, that they can't really interact with it without, because they can't pay Tien that early in the game. Plus, just access to Cold Bloodlust is really hard to deal with for a lot of decks. This deck builds up a board rather quickly, and then you're making your opponent discard cards super quick. Eventually, if you can get your opponent down to a pretty low hand size, you can kind of lock them out for under 3 cards in their hand with Android 13 and Sheila in play at the same time, which is really strong. But all in all, like I said, let me know what you think about the deck list. Be sure to comment down below and all that good stuff, and we will see y'all next time.